Welcome to our podcast, Parenting by the Pint. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, Minivan Mafia. Lauren and I are longtime friends from Chicagoland that love getting together to chat about life, kids, family, and beer.
Each week, we'll feature a brewery and sample at least 2 of their beers.
We'll also discuss a variety of topics ranging from parenting, pop culture, travel, marriage, and just about anything else that comes to mind. Welcome, everybody. Here we go. We are venturing out of the state of Illinois today. We haven't done that in a little while. We go back and forth a little bit. Although, no, wait. We did visit the Grand Canyon recently.
We did.
I guess I'm wrong.
Because I was there, yes.
I remember. But now we're going to Missouri, and we're going to drink O'Fallon Brewing, which is something that I picked up at Binny's, and we're going to drink their pretzel beer, which has a pretzel on it, and I think it's supposed to either taste like pretzels or be drank with a pretzel. I'm not sure which.
O'Fallon Naughty Pretzel Beer. So, I'm intrigued, I guess.
Sure. Well, we're about to find out. So
It actually
does it smell?
smells kind of bready. Like
Maybe kind of like a pretzel?
it smells kind of like bread.
Yeah.
It really
It does smell like bread. And I know beer, people call beer liquid bread. It looks a little flat.
Yeah.
A little. I hope that's not a bad sign.
I don't know what this is supposed to taste like.
I don't like it. I mean, let me elaborate. I don't
Give me that bottle.
think
Let me see.
it's... Go ahead. It does not taste like a pretzel. Let's start there.
Well, it's malt beverage actually. So it's not beer, even though it says pretzel beer.
I was misled,
So,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I would have assumed beer too.
I mean-
As I read the fine print,
It looks
beer-ish,
mostly like beer.
beer-esque. It
I
looks
mean,
beer-esque.
Yeah, I mean, my only reason to say that it doesn't is there's like no head on this beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no head. It's a little flat. There's some bubbles, but there's no head to it. It smells like bread. It has a bit of saltiness to it when I drink it.
Yeah, I could see that. I get that a little bit, but I won't be drinking a lot of this. Sorry, everybody.
It's very different. It smells like bread. It tastes salty. Tastes like... I don't know what it tastes like. It tastes like something. Yeah, I don't know what this tastes like. I can't really decipher this.
Yeah, I think we're perplexed. I think it's mostly because we didn't know what was going to happen here because of what happened.
Yes.
But
I can't really say I would know what to expect with a pretzel beer either. But it tastes salty. I feel like I guess you could eat pretzels with this, but it smells a little bready. It tastes a little salty. It doesn't taste at all like a pretzel, but it's just a very unique...
Well, and let me add that I don't feel like it really tastes like a malt beverage. Does it?
No, it doesn't.
I mean,
the aftertaste tastes like beer. Like it just tastes like a lager. The aftertaste literally just tastes like a salty lager to me. So
a salty lager.
It does. Like what else does this taste like? I have no idea.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I'm so confused. I'm very confused. All right. Let's
that was interesting. Let's hear about O'Fallon and try to change our perspective a little, shall we?
So O'Fallon Brewery. It's currently in Maryland Heights, Missouri. They did start in the town of O'Fallon. In 2000, their motto is "We love beer." Sure. It was opened by Fran and Tori Caradonna. They had previously in 1990 started a distribution company called Signature Beer Co. So they focused on distributing for Midwest brewers, and then eventually decided they wanted to distribute their own products. So they eventually sold the distributor company and worked on opening O'Fallon. Tony actually started in kind of the beer industry as a tour guide at Anheuser-Busch, which is not far from that area of Missouri.
Okay.
So, and then their first head brewer was a home brewer that Tony had gotten to know working when he was distributing beer, who was just a guy who worked at a liquor store who homebrewed. That one day he was like,
What?
"Hey, so we're going to open this brewery. Do you want to come and brew for us?"
What?
And he was there until 2022 from when they started the brewery
so
in
cool,
2000. So it must have worked out all right.
That's funny.
For them. So yeah, so interesting. So they started out in 2000. They started out with a 15-barrel brew house, making everything they had by hand. Their first and only beer for a while was O'Fallon Gold, which you can still find. And they started growing over the next decade, and they wound up divorcing. They were a husband and wife couple. They wound up selling to a former Anheuser-Busch executive, actually a marketing executive, I think, Jim, in 2011, who's now still the current president of O'Fallon. In 2014, shortly after he took over, they announced a huge project, $10 million expansion project.
Wow.
Added a restaurant, a tasting room, almost 40,000 square foot brewery. That whole complex opened in 2015, which was actually really great because it allowed them to bring some of their brewing back in-house. They had actually exceeded capacity, their demand had. So in 2008, they started actually contract brewing out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin, which we had talked about previously. They contract brewed out of there for quite a while until they could bring their brewing, all of it, back in-house. And now they actually contract brew for other brewers since they went through this, big expansion project.
Sure.
They can technically grow to up to 50,000 barrels annually. They started at about 25,000 in the new production facility. So, so they also have a 5-barrel kind of small batch setup that they like to experiment with new beers and give tastings on tours and at the tasting room to really get the experience and the customer feedback on potential new beers that they might kind of, just think about doing or trying out and experimenting with. So Fran stayed on as GM after the Jim had bought out in 2011. And she recently, within the last handful of years, actually moved on to the St. Louis brewery and is now the CEO there. They're best known for their, I can't pronounce the beer, the Schlafly beer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually the St. Louis brewery is the name of that brewery that makes that beer.
Okay.
And she moved on to CEO there, which she currently is still at.
Wow.
So she's been in the beer industry for a very long time. But currently, O'Fallon is run by Jim Gorzyka from previously from Anheuser-Busch. So they continue doing well. And the next beer we're going to drink in a bit actually is won 2 Great American Beer Fest gold medals. They have a number of other beers that have won medals throughout the years as well. So they've done well. Again, they opened 23 years ago. So
that's a good run so far.
So far so good. So so that's a little bit about O'Fallon since we need a distraction from pretzels.
Yeah, I'm going to just put this out of my way because I don't think I'm going to drink any more of it. Anyway.
We'll see what the next one is.
We'll get to the next one eventually. Right. So let's move on and we're going to revisit a topic that we have visited before. Mm-hmm. And I know we've occasionally kind of touched on things we've discussed before. This might be our first time officially going back and talking about kind of the same thing again. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's a valid subject matter every year or so because of our kids growing up and getting older. And and how things might change as a result. So we're going to talk about hygiene again.
Yep.
I do have more
More to say
about it, which I kind of feel like is sad. I wish I didn't.
Nah, it is what it is.
But I do.
There's like there's different seasons of this depending on what age your children are at. So we will hit on different things as we, have different periods of their life.
I agree. Yes, I agree. Like I said, this probably won't be the last time we talk about it.
I'm sure it won't be.
So,
all right.
I still, just like last time we talked about it, we still battle about showering and brushing teeth, the basics. My oldest has a aversion to brushing his hair, which is long and needs to be brushed regularly. We've talked a great deal about that issue with him and agreed that he's just not willing to do it. We've resolved it a little bit where we did do a haircut actually just the other day that gave him an undercut. So he is shaved now partly on the under. So he has a little bit less to comb through, which is great. And has made a difference even in the few days that we've dealt with it so far. And it looks really good. It looks really nice. I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah.
He does brush his hair. He just doesn't really do enough. Yeah. I'm sure your daughter, maybe you could weigh in with your daughter.
It's like a battle all the time because she has very, very thick hair. She had it long for a while, and then she grew it really long so she could cut it and donate it to Wigs for Kids. Since then, she has been keeping it relatively short in terms of for a girl. It's like shoulder length or shorter most of the time. Only long enough we can put it in a ponytail, but not any longer.
Yes.
And part of that is because it is such a battle to brush through her hair. And I don't know what she does at night. I don't know if she's like winding herself up in something, but it's a nest in the morning.
Oh, geez.
And it's like it takes me, even with her sitting, a while to comb through all of the knots in her hair. So I can't imagine it being any longer. She's gotten better about it, and she brushes her hair before bed so that it starts good and not a mess already. Yes. And in the morning before school, but also we've started because she was struggling to wash her hair on her own and get conditioner in it and everything through it. So now I'm like, okay, you have to brush it before you shower, which I get seems counterintuitive, but you need to do that. Otherwise it's not going to get clean. It's not going to get conditioned. This is just what you have to do.
Yeah.
Make it part of your process.
Absolutely.
So we do that. She does not wash her hair enough, I feel like. And I get
Does she ever have like little dry areas that just didn't get wet even?
Sometimes, yeah. Well, she's much better about it now because I've harped on her so much that she would get out of the shower and I'd be like, you didn't even wash your part. Like that you need to wash all the hairs.
Yes.
Not just like the ends where you get food in them, all of it, the whole thing. So she's improved, but this took us quite a while to get there. And I get she's only 9, but like she's had hair her whole life. So seriously, like her whole life. So she needs to be able to do this on her own. My son, her twin, he prefers his hair as short as possible so he can take a 3-minute shower and just be done and not have to do anything with his hair. Like for a minute, he thought putting gel in it and combing it was cool, and like literally a minute. After that, he was just like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like I'm literally just washing it and that's it. That's all he does.
Yeah, that is the dream.
There's no more interest in that. My oldest, we help him wash his hair. He's working on it, but we keep his relatively short. But his hair is so curly and cute that we like can't like totally chop off all the curls. So
he does have cute hair.
Yeah, so like we can't just get rid of all of it.
Well, and I really like my oldest hair. He has nice hair.
Yeah.
And it looks good when it's combed through and neat.
And clean and whatnot. All
But
those things. Yeah.
the problem is when that's not the case, it looks like you slept outside last night.
Correct. Yes.
And I said that to him. We went to get haircuts, and I was like, you got to brush your hair before we go to the haircut. And he was like, why? She's just going to wash it and brush it. Why do I need to brush it? I loved that response. Let me say that. But I was like, because I don't want to walk in there and have her think that you slept on the ground last
Because
night.
that's what you look like. Yes.
Yeah, because you look like you slept outside.
Yeah.
And please just brush it.
Yeah. This should not be
a little bit before we shave some of it off.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Yeah, we're a work in progress. We have made progress, but we are a work in progress on that.
Well, and he gets very sensitive about the conversation because he feels like he's being criticized. So we have to not go too hard on it. So when it comes to washing or brushing, I'm allowed to be like, you should wash your hair when you take a shower tonight.
Yeah.
But then when he gets out and it's not completely clean because I can tell, I have to just be like, oh, you missed a couple spots. Maybe, get those tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Maybe. Friend. Buddy.
I get it. They're at an awkward age where it is a little bit like my daughter's a bit sensitive about it sometimes. But at this point, I feel like it's just she's heard it so much from me being like, did you brush your hair? And she's like, oh, I forgot. Like, why is this not a routine for you?
I do like the I forgot excuse, which I also get from my son.
I forgot. Are you sure? Did you really forget?
I forgot to brush my hair. You forgot?
Yeah. Like, how is this not part of your everyday routine now? Like, it should be. So, did you forget everything else? So, do I have to walk through the list of everything? Did you brush your teeth too? Did you wash your hands? Like, did you wash your face?
Right.
Do you have underwear on even? Do I need to check these things? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, my kids somehow a few years ago decided that they do not wear underwear to bed. They wear pajamas, but they do not wear underwear.
Okay.
Sorry if that was a private piece of information. My kids someday watch. This will be the one episode they pick out of the haystack.
Yeah.
And they'll be very offended that
it was their choice. So,
but they made the decision some time ago to not wear underwear under their pajamas. And I didn't really know how to respond to that, so I just didn't.
Yeah.
My husband doesn't like it, but I just was like,
I don't even care you're sleeping, but I
guess
mean,
it's
my
fine.
son would prefer to just wear underwear to bed.
Well, sure, and I have
so
nephews who take that approach.
Yeah.
But whenever pajama day at school rolls around, I have to remind them, you have to put on underwear, though.
Yes.
You can't not wear underwear to school. And they'll be like, they'll contemplate what I'm saying. They'll just be like, oh, that's very interesting.
You're like,
no, it's a
Go
suggestion.
put them on.
Like I'm like presenting a possibility that they'd never considered before.
Yeah, no, this is a thing that you must do.
You must wear underwear if you're going to wear pajamas to school. You must wear underwear to school. Let's just make that the rule.
Yes, to
Always.
School. This is
Please
the
wear
rule.
underwear. Please.
Yeah. No, we don't have that problem here. But
On that note, my oldest, actually my youngest is the opposite, but my oldest tends to be very lazy about getting dressed on the weekends.
Oh, okay.
He is the person who, if we didn't have anything going on all day, would just stay in those pajamas. Now, I am an adult. I also have that desire.
Yes.
There are plenty of times where I do not change out of my pajamas until much later in the day.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you.
And it's funny because there will be times where I will finally decide to take a shower at like 3 p.m. on a Saturday. And someone will inevitably call me while I am in the shower. And I will get out and I'll get dressed and I'll see the missed call. And I like call my brother.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, oh, I called you a few minutes ago. And I'll be like, yeah, I was in the shower.
Yeah.
Because this is when I started to get ready for the day.
I'm totally with you. If I have nothing going on, I get it.
Like, so I get my son being kind of lazy. And it's just the weekends. It doesn't happen during the week. He gets ready for school. He gets dressed. There's no issue there. But on the weekends, he does not get dressed until I have to prompt him about it. So if we are going somewhere, he will be like, "What time is it going to be?" And I'll be like, "It's at 2:00," and he'll be like, "I'll be dressed by then."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know that's not totally a hygiene thing per se, but it definitely is a habit that has been created by him where he doesn't really initiate the like get dressed, brush teeth, get ready for the day
routine,
ritual on the weekends. It just doesn't happen.
That's fair. Our kids will get up and brush their teeth in the morning, but they often will sit in pajamas most of the day on weekends. I dropped my son off at a friend's house yesterday, and that kid was still in pajamas even with my kid coming over. So he literally and then when I picked him up at like 7:30 at night, that kid had never changed out of his pajamas.
Oh, man.
Quite literally the whole day.
That's great. Good for him, man. Way to feel that way about yourself. Like that's just great. Yeah. My kids play with a couple kids in the neighborhood, and on like, I don't know, Thursday or Friday evening, it must have been Friday, they were playing with the kids in the neighborhood, and we had a soccer game on Saturday morning at like 8:45. Yep. And so it wasn't late on Friday, but it was later. Sure. And I was like, okay, you guys got to come in, it's time. I was gonna go out for a drink with a friend, and it was like 7:30 or so. My husband had gotten home. They gotta be up recently.
Early on Saturday, yeah.
And one of them has to play this soccer game really early, and I'm like, we're gonna call it a night after this. Yeah. And they were just like outraged about that, of course. But the neighborhood kids, I was like, well, we'll see you. We can play tomorrow. Sure. After the soccer game. Soccer game's at 8:45, and we'll be home after that, and we can knock on the door. Yeah. And then one kid was like, but not right away, right? Like, you're not going to knock on my door at like 10 a.m. And I was like, no. And he was like, no. Okay. We had lunch, and my son went over there and knocked on the door, and this kid was like still asleep.
Oh, wow.
At like noon.
Yeah, no.
I don't know what time they go to bed.
That's crazy. My kids are not capable of sleeping that long.
Those kids, man... I know people who have kids that they have to like get up in the morning, like wake them up in the morning. Yeah. Those are not my kids. Oh, no. My kids are not that way.
I rarely have to wake the twins up. I honestly rarely have to wake my oldest up. I do go in there and he's awake, but he has to get up and get out of bed and get ready at 6 o'clock in the morning. So like I have to prompt him to be like, okay, get out of bed.
Yeah, sure.
But he's usually awake. The twins, honestly, they get up on their own, and I very rarely have to like get them up and going. Yeah. But I can't tell you the last time that they slept past like 7 o'clock in the morning. Like,
yeah.
No idea.
I mean, my son was sick about 2 weeks ago, and there was a day where I came downstairs myself from like getting ready for work, and it was 7:45. Yeah. And my son was still asleep. Oh. And I was like, dang, he must be really sick.
Same, yeah.
Because
when
I've never had that
sleeps in, like, he's definitely not feeling well.
Yeah. It's the only time I've ever had one of them
really
sleep past, let's say, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that would be...
Oh, yeah, that's rare for us.
Abnormal. And this is the weekends, too. My kids do not sleep in.
No, mine don't either. Well, they're so used to getting up early that they don't... I mean, now my son will, like, wake up and just lay in bed and watch TV, but he will be awake. So, and that's a recent occurrence, too, because for a long time he would wake up and come and tell me he was up and then tell me he was going to watch TV.
And you're like, I was
like, I don't need to be involved in this conversation at all.
Yeah, you don't have to update me. You're not leaving the house. Yeah. We're fine.
As long as you're in your room, you're good.
I will say, and I know this is a little off topic, but my kids are pretty awesome about just
entertaining themselves,
occupying themselves on a Saturday morning. Yes. When we don't have to get up early, I do usually have an opportunity to get some extra sleep on
That's
like
fantastic.
a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's...
I'm very much looking forward to lacrosse season being over so I can sleep in on the weekends. So
Yeah, I know. So soccer season just started this last Saturday, and when we got up for the game, that was at 8:45, I was just like,
can
I
we be
hate
done?
this.
Yeah.
We should just skip it. Like,
No, I know.
it's like, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
It's almost raining out. It's a little cold. Like, I don't want to go to this game. The rest of his games for the rest of the season are all at 10.
Oh, perfect.
It's
Nice.
perfect. I couldn't pick a better time
We're
for his
all
games.
over the place. So, yeah, we're
But
yeah.
okay,
One more
let's
month.
talk
All right,
about
moving on.
hygiene again.
So, yeah, we've been battling with flossing and using mouthwash. So, my youngest had a number of cavities the last time we went to the dentist. And my daughter had none and my oldest had none, but my youngest had like 4.
Whoa.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, it was a
that
lot.
was
So
us
I was like,
last summer.
dude, like we give you flossers, like you have to use them. And I can't, like, if I say go brush your teeth, that means do all the things, not just the brushing.
Yeah, don't
It
be
means
literal about
floss and brush and use the mouthwash we bought you, like all of those things. I'm not
Did
going
they
to
give
tell
him
you.
the like prescription toothpaste?
They did not.
We
So-
got that
Okay.
like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And first of all, it took forever to go through it because they gave us like a crap ton of it. And
okay.
secondly, I think it was really good.
Okay.
Like, I do think that it really helped because my oldest at the next appointment was pretty scot-free.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And my youngest still had some
Sure.
issues, cavities. I think he had 3.
Okay.
But the flossing is an issue, and we do the
Yeah.
same thing. We have the little
Yep.
like
the little plastic flosser
wand
things. Yep.
with the bridge
Yep.
of floss,
Yep, same.
and like he has the worst time with the bottom front teeth. I don't know what
Really?
his deal is.
I feel
He
like
does
those would
not
be the
clean them enough.
easiest.
I have to do this thing now at night
Yeah.
where I go, okay, go brush your teeth, and I'm checking teeth tonight. And all I got to do is say it.
And they'll
And
like
they'll
do
cover
it.
all the teeth.
Okay.
They'll do all the teeth rather than just like the select few on the one side while they
Right.
sit there and gnaw on their toothbrush.
Yes. No. All the teeth, all the things. Like I'm gonna put
Yeah.
up a checklist on the like wall in their bathroom or
Yeah.
something. But we've definitely been battling that. I think that actually getting cavities is the first time my son has had cavities. That
The
it
wake-up
kind
call?
of gave him a wake up call. Like, oh, I actually have to do these things. I can't just half-ass it.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing he was half-assing it. So
Well, and you
yeah.
know, it doesn't take very long
Yeah.
of doing that
Right.
to kind of suffer the consequences.
Yep.
Teeth
Yeah.
are funny.
Yeah. So that's one thing we've been battling with.
Yeah, we go up and down with that thing.
Yeah.
So I would say on the whole, brushing teeth has gotten a lot better for us.
Yeah.
But we still have times where, like I said, with my youngest, where I'm like, dude, I'm looking at them. They're
Yeah.
dirty. Visibly dirty.
Right.
You need to brush them.
Yes.
You did not touch a tooth. These did not get touched by a toothbrush today. That I can tell.
You need, yeah. You
This
need to
needs
do
a little
better.
more
If I'm giving
attention.
you a grade, you are not going to pass.
This is C minus work. Okay?
So-
and we do not get C minuses
Yes, we
here.
need to work on that. Yeah, no, that's yeah. So we're working on it. We both of the twins use deodorant now. My son needs to with all the sports and things like that. Plus,
yeah.
he's just getting older and boys smell. So
Well,
like,
and he's a big kid,
Yes.
and like you
Yeah.
said, and he's athletic.
Right.
So the combination of getting bigger and older and running around
yeah.
for a long period of time,
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
You're gonna get dirty.
Yeah, and he
like,
has to
and smell.
shower after every lacrosse game. Like, he's like, it was cold and raining, and I'm like, even more reason. Like, he kind
because
of
you are actually dirty.
argued
then.
with me a little bit. Not argued, but he like just didn't feel like it on Sunday when we got home, and I was like, you just have to do it. This
Well, he
is
probably didn't feel that
not-
good, right?
yeah.
Because he's been a little
yeah,
off.
Yeah, and
with
it was
that.
cold and hailing during the game.
I remember that.
But I'm like, just just go and do it. And I was like, well, then fine, talk to your father. Like, and he's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I'll
that's
just
always
go
good.
take a shower. And I was like,
do like that.
exactly.
Do your kids approach you more than they approach your husband when it comes
It's
to...
like 90 to 10.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Quite literally.
I am literally washing dishes. My husband is laying on the couch.
Yeah.
That is the situation.
Or like he has to, the
And they
kids have
come
to
up
walk
to me.
past him.
Yeah.
My husband sends me memes frequently that are like this is the list for mom and then dad, because they literally, and he'll look at him and be like, I'm right here, and they'll
My
just
husband's
go
the same
right
way.
past them.
It's not like he's hiding out
No,
somewhere.
no, not at all.
He's in.
Yeah.
You can see him.
Yeah.
He's in this room.
Like,
you just
Mom,
have
can
to
you
look.
do this for me? And I'm like in the middle of something, and my husband's like, I'm right here. Like, I'm like,
What am I, chopped liver?
Exactly.
Like,
But
utilize
yes,
this.
it literally is that. Like, we live that meme every day because they do always come
Yeah.
to me first for God knows what reason. But
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be like, oh, well, you and your father can talk about that, and then they'll be like, oh, I don't want to ask dad, so then they'll just do
That's
it.
awesome. I wish they felt that way about me. I wish I was the parent that they were like, nah, I'd rather not. I want to be that person.
Yeah, that was
It's a
fun.
goal for me. I've always
Ugh.
had a Batman parenting style kind of in the back of my mind as like a like a possibility if
Yeah,
all
yeah,
else
yeah.
fails
Yep.
to like use fear as a weapon.
That's fair. I get it.
I've
Totally.
never actually gone that far,
Yeah.
that often. Once in a while, there's always those days where you used to be like, when I tell Santa about this, he's going to be really upset. And that's fear, my friends.
That is. When you use, that is definitely fear.
But yeah.
Yeah, we are getting to different points with hygiene with my daughter, which is, interesting. I've bought period underwear for the inevitable time when that comes, even though I have no idea how to use them. They didn't exist when we were kids. I don't even know how they work.
I'm fascinated. So if at some point you could just like tell
I'll
me.
give you some sort of summary of
I'm
how
a little,
the heck they...
like I'm like a little girl. I'm like a little scared about it, but I
Right?
also want to know.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued. So I bought some because inevitably, like I got it when I was 10. My daughter's 9. It's gonna happen.
We're getting there. Yeah, sure.
So, and then one of my good friend's daughters is 10. So I'm like, it's gonna happen soon. But what's interesting is they are kids' clothes and adult clothes at this age is interesting, especially because if little girls are growing faster, they get hair in places.
Oh,
So
sure.
kids' bathing suits often are very thin. And we've had the
Yeah.
conversation that they don't like the feel of how their bathing suit bottoms are very thin and hair starts poking through as it grows.
Uh-huh.
So we're like,
Wow, this is
okay,
intense.
didn't even have to think about, never thought about this at
No,
all
no.
because it just didn't. But women's tend to have double linings in bottoms, which you don't think about at all. Like,
No.
so we're looking in like the adult smalls now for
Sure.
other things, but it has come up in conversations now. Like, I don't like this. Like, it's prickly, and you're more self-conscious. You probably wouldn't see it through a bathing suit, but I get it. Like,
But sure.
it adds to that self-consciousness about it in the first place, and kids stuff doesn't really lend itself to girls getting older.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting conversation had. Something interesting also, not with my family, but with acquaintance. Her son is a little bit older, and they talk to him about what periods are and things. And a couple of people have told me that their kids have done this, but noticed when a girl in their class has something or has blood on them or whatnot. And was like, take my sweatshirt, wrap it around your waist, and go to the nurse. Like, we haven't talked to my son about it, but as we talk to my daughter, we should talk to my son and let him know what it is. Not to the same in-depth as the girls,
No,
but
I
so
think that's
they're
good.
aware that don't make fun of them for this. If you see it, like, this is the right way to handle it, and this is what this is, so that they're not pointing it out and making a big deal of it, which will make it inevitably worse for whatever girl
Yeah, it
that's
becomes
doing.
a core memory then.
Yes, for sure. But it's a good point that a lot of people just teach their little girls because it's going to happen to them. But teach your little boys so they know.
Yeah.
You know?
I did talk to my son who is a 6th grader now, and they do in their health classes,
Yeah.
they do, not separate the kids.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes, they do those conversations separately at times.
Sure.
But they do tell boys these things now a little bit more than they ever did before. I mean, they certainly didn't.
No, I don't think they did at all. And they separated the boys and girls when we were kids, when we had those conversations. So, like, I don't even know what they told the boys, but probably not much. But, like, as our kids are getting older, those are conversations we should have with the boys, too. So
I
they
agree
know,
100%.
like, how do you handle this? What should you do? Not just be like, point, oh, look at that. Like, not that they would even do it purposefully mean.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't want to draw attention to that.
Yeah, and it's a tricky situation where if you didn't know what was happening, you probably would react that way.
Right, because you don't know. And so I think it's important to, just make them knowledgeable about the various things that happen, My daughter started wearing bras because when she's in PE or when she's doing something active, like, she needs them. So she has,
That's good.
She has no qualms about them showing through her shirts or anything like that. And I'm like, well, could you just make the straps match so they're, like, not sticking out? But she's like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just fine. I get it. It's like she's young and she's just doing it because she has to. But all of those fun things are starting to come around with all of our kids, really.
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing I would mention when it comes to hygiene, that is a current issue that we've been having, which is going to sound crazy because of everything that has happened in the last 3 years. You would think that this would be a non-issue, that your kids would have learned at this point how important washing your hands is.
Dude, they just forget. Literally, like, they walk out of the bathroom and I'm like, I didn't hear the water running.
The toilet flush,
like, did you wash your hands? Opens. This is another thing. Oh, I forgot. How on earth is this not just second nature to go from one to the other?
In my main floor bathroom, you've been in it.
Oh, yeah.
The toilet,
you stand up and you wash your hands
from the sink.
Literally.
There is one rug, and it is between the two because that's how much space there is between them. It's a very small bathroom. When you get up from the toilet, just turn the sink
right
on.
there.
It's like you only have to take one step. And it's the same step you would take to open the door. So you are already there. Just do it. And I get a lot of I forgot or I did that. I did it.
I literally go and I touch their hands and I'm like, did you? But
I'll go into the bathroom and check for water on the sink. Oh, there's no, it's not wet in the sink.
There's no way you did this. Like, did that. This is not.
And, or, like I said, you hear the toilet flush and then the door immediately opens. And I'm not stupid.
Yes.
I know what that means.
I don't understand why. I just don't understand why it's just not part of the routine.
And I think that's what we're getting at here is that some of these behaviors, some of this old stuff has become the routine. And some of these newer things, for some reason, why is hand washing part of it, but for some reason just have not become part of the routine. I remember having an in-depth argument with my youngest about whether or not soap was beneficial in the hand washing ritual. He was like, I just turn the water on and I wash my hands. He would use the word wash his hands, but I don't.
But he didn't actually wash.
And I think it was a very brief stint because my youngest is also a germaphobe. So like, I think that this was just like some sort of flaw in his brain temporarily, but he tried to convince me that that was better. And I was just like, it's not. Don't do that.
No, just use the soap is necessary. It's part of the process. It needs to be included here.
And I am that person that when I walk through the door from being anywhere outside of my house, I take my shoes off and I wash my hands.
That's fair.
That's the order of which when I get home from work, I wash my hands and then I engage. So like
whatever
if I'm going to go upstairs and change or I'm going to eat dinner or I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do, grab a beer and go sit and watch TV.
That's
Washing
part of
hands
your process.
Just happens. And I've tried to tell my kids that is, when you're outside and you're playing with your friends for 3 hours and it's dinner time,
Come in, wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Anytime you're outside, honestly, come in, wash your hands before you're going to do something.
Yeah.
I'm not great about doing it when I get home from anywhere. My husband does. He washes his hands a lot. I think that partially is with his profession too. He constantly washes his hands. But the kids, we do often have to be like, okay, you were just touching something outside. Like, wash your hands before you put food in your mouth or whatever else. Like, we need to do. I don't know why they just don't feel it as an important step in the process.
I do think what has really helped us turn a corner on the washing hands argument is that in the last couple months, we have visited a place that considers itself the world's cleanest indoor amusement park. It is called Urban Air, and it's in Naperville. And my kids have gotten sick both times we have gone. Oh my gosh. I just saw Lauren smell the beer we're about to drink. It was terrifying. Man, I just got it. Okay.
See why? See what their response was? Anyways, yes.
Failure.
So many people I know that go to Urban Air or any of those trampoline places quite literally just get sick every time.
The first time we went, they both got sick. First, my little one. And then obviously I think Big Brother actually caught it from the little one. Big Brother threw up 6 times in the span of a night.
Oh, man. That's
6
rough.
times, man.
That's
You'd
rough.
have to take me to the hospital.
That's a lot.
I was very concerned.
Yes,
I was like,
fair.
Are you alive? You need to drink some water.
Yeah.
Like,
here's some Pedialyte. Like,
yeah,
dude, you need something.
Fortunately for him, I had loaded up on all that stuff from little brother being sick, so I was just like, have this and this and this and drink something, and like it.
But yes,
helped him recover.
Anytime we're on mats, like anything time that there's like any sort of gymnasticsy mat things, stuff like that, we wash our hands. Like the twins do MMA. They actually did it tonight. And I'm sure when they got home, their dad was like, go wash your hands.
Yes.
Because they collect things. They collect germs. They just do.
It's just impossible for it to be that clean. Now, I will say that we went to a trampoline park in Naperville, a different place, and had a very good experience. And I didn't think it looked dirty. And it was, nobody got sick. And we took a little group of kids because it was my son's like unofficial birthday. So he brought a friend and then my older son brought a friend. So there were 4 kids.
Gotcha.
Everybody survived it without a brutal illness.
That is what we want.
So yes, but the hand washing lesson was a tough one to learn after a few violent illnesses really swept through the place.
That's an important step that the children don't seem to be real excited about. All right, we're drinking this smoke porter, which is their 2-time Great American Beer Fest gold medal winner. It dark, rich, smoky. So
let's do it.
I did open it and I did smell it and I did make a
She made a face.
I made a face. It smells like, and don't get me wrong, I like smoked things.
You know, it's got a strong aroma. It's not as strong on the flavor, and that's not bad.
Okay. It's not bad.
Yeah, I like it more than I expected from the aroma.
I like the taste far better than the smell.
The aroma is it's like wet wood chip smell though. You know, like when you're smoking meat
when you're smoking
and you
meat
get
and
water
you get,
on the chips to kind of get your smoker to
or
get
when
the
you
flavor
take
of
the wood chips out after you've smoked them. That is what this smells like.
Yeah,
it doesn't smell like what you've smoked. It smells like the
implements that affect the smoking process.
It's like the burnt wet wood smoke.
Isn't that what it smells like?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the smell. I will say that the taste is better than expected.
Yeah. Maybe that's because we just finished a malt beverage though.
Finished is excessive use of that term. We
tried.
Yeah.
Tried it.
Okay, this is smoky. It's got kind of a lot of flavor to it that's a little bit bitter almost for a porter. Maybe that's the smoked piece of it. It's very bold tasting in my opinion. It's definitely smoky.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
I don't love it, but I don't hate it as much as I thought by opening the bottle.
Well, and I will say that I've had smoked beers before and have traditionally strongly disliked them.
This
And I do
isn't-
not strongly dislike this. If
Yeah.
someone brought me a glass of this to taste like at a bar,
Yeah.
I would sip on it for a little while and be
yeah.
content with that.
Yeah, this isn't bad. It's just not. I wouldn't pick it, but it's definitely not bad. Like it. If you liked smoked beers too, which is kind of a fad lately, like
Yes.
this is one of the more drinkable ones in my opinion, for sure. So like this, I could totally see if people like that kind of beer enjoying this one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So if it's something you like and it's a flavor profile that you like, then this one I would say was definitely worth giving a shot too.
Definitely.
So,
And I wouldn't rule out O'Fallon. I know we kind of struck out on the first beer a little bit.
no, I would definitely
but
try
this
some other
is-
things by them.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't my cup of tea necessarily, but it's better than I expected for the profile. And they make a number of other beers, and I would definitely give some others a try if I come across them. So
Totally.
yeah. All right.
All right. Well, there you go, you guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks.
Thanks everyone for listening to the latest musings from Parenting by the Pint.
Be sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcasts.
Have a great week and cheers to you all.